you can definitely have Kino top 5. I'm not sure if it's the Lies of P combat holding him back necessarily. I think actually my thing with Lies of P combat is that the parry, the animations, and just the general flow of the game and how it feels to play, I don't really like. However, for Arlecchino, he is the one exception. He is the one boss where I don't have a problem with the parry animations and everything. So I'm going to explain this. I've explained this a couple times before, but I don't really mind talking about this because I find it really interesting. You see, when you parry something in Sekiro, you have actual momentum transfer from attack to attack. If you have a giant attack, you're going to have more, knockback when you hit the parry. If you have a light attack, Sekiro's parry animation has less commitment. Now, I find this a really smooth way to, sort of animate and signify how much impact an attack has. It makes an attack feel so much more fun. Lies of P doesn't have specialized parry animations for this, so it's just a little bit weird when the parry frame is the same as the guard frame, and it's just the same frame of animation, and your character's sliding back 7 feet with the exact same frame of animation. It looks really weird to me. It's like, yeah, it just feels really unnatural when it looks like I'm standing still, and especially for rapid hit attacks, my character's just jerking back and forth in the exact same stance. It just doesn't feel as good to play as something like Sekiro, where his blade has sort of the transfer momentum for each animation. When you parry something repeatedly, Sekiro's sword physically shakes left and right to accommodate for what type of attack he's going up against. Especially going along with Lies of P's really snappy animations that I'm not entirely a fan of due to the frequency of how it's used. I don't exactly enjoy it as much as something like Sekiro. However, Arlecchino's phase 1 animation, most of his phase 1 animations and attacks are, because you know how bosses like Champion Victor or like Parade Master, they'll have these giant weighty swings left and right. Now, I'm not saying these things kill the game feel of the game or anything. I'm just saying that they do detract from the game feel a little bit less. Now, Arlecchino's attacks in phase 1 come out in such a fast flurry. They come out with such weightless speed. They come out so smoothly to where I don't mind that the parry animation for the player character basically doesn't move. Since Arlecchino's sickle and small saber attacks are so light, it makes sense that P's sword wouldn't move as much, because since the attacks are so light, you're not going to move your sword much to compensate for the momentum being transferred from impact to impact. So it feels really good to parry some of those small hits. And while I understand that Kino does have these bigger attacks where you are going to slide back a bit, it doesn't really bother me as much, considering that since the majority of his moves are pretty light on the player, it is far less, I don't want to say offensive, but it's far less noticeable than bosses like Champion Victor, who have these big weighty swings with almost every single attack. Also, another thing, most Lies of P bosses have these really snappy animations that are almost 2 frame. I don't really like how frequently they're used, but Kino's animations are smooth and extremely normal. They feel like I'm fighting like a normal fucking dude. The same kind of goes for Romeo, but Romeo is a little bit worse at this. Still though, Romeo feels really good to parry. Point is though, Kino is the only boss in Lies of P that I fought. I never finished the DLC, I just jumped to Kino, but I finished like the first 30% of the DLC roughly. Maybe Marchiona, but I can only speak for Kino because I have a much better memory of his fight. Arlecchino is the only boss in Lies of P where I have no problem with the player animations, the boss animations, and the combination of the two. He is a very rare breed where I actually fuck with the Lies of P combat system. I fuck with the Lies of P combat system. I can't say that about anything else in the entire game. It's not like I dislike Lies of P's combat system. I just don't fuck with it. I fuck heavy with it on Arlecchino. That's the thing.